One of the most rewarding parts of gardening is that once you've bought a plant and it's grown and established, you can divide it, you can take cuttings, you can make more. One such plant that I've got in my garden here is called Plectranthus. Oh, listen to that bird. That's Lurie. Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah, it's interfering in my TV time, but we'll forgive it because it means the rain is coming. The Plectranthus, back to the plant, has got beautiful little pink flecks on it. When you touch its foliage, it's got the most amazing scent. In fact, very good for chasing away mosquitoes, also good as a snake repellent, and good as a companion plant in your veggie garden. It's a low-growing shrub. You can see it's loving this pot over here, and by taking cuttings of the Plectranthus, they are so forgiving and really easy to grow. So you can see just above where there's a join, what we call the node, you're just going to take off a few of these. We'll get rid of that. And that will be the growth point, so we'll leave that part there. So let's get off to the potting shed and put these guys to good use. All right, guys, so I've got my recycled Plectranthus here, and we're going to show you what we're going to do with that in a couple of minutes' time. But first up, let's show you the concept. We've got this beautiful echeveria, and I've got these two sexy pots. This is a pot that's going to be within a pot. This is to create a bit of height and depth, especially if you don't have enough space to work with in terms of the depth of the actual pot, because you might be restricted by the size of the plant that you can put in here because of the root zone. So first up, what we need to get sorted is that these pots don't have any holes. And we know that drainage is king. It's king for every single container, folks. And for this, I need my drill, and I've got a universal drill bit on here. This fiberglass shouldn't be all that tough to get through. Okay, pots are ready. We can put this aside. No more drill needed. And let's get to the potting mixture. So come along with me. This is really important, guys, because so many of you are enjoying succulents and having them, even those non-gardeners, you know, those plant killers. This is the trick, and listen up carefully. When using any succulents, the base medium is so important. It needs a good, well-drained medium. So into the trug, I'm putting a 50% volume of potting soil and 50% of good fine grit. Do you see that here? It's a beautiful gravel. This is actually an aquarium gravel that we're using. As an alternative, you couldn't actually use silica sand. Silica sand, the stuff that you use in your swimming pools, swimming pool filters, that's the one. So in this goes one container of that to equal parts potting soil. Nice and simple. Into it, we're adding our little secret ingredient, which is some carbon little granules. This stuff really helps our nutrition of our soil. It's a humic-based product, and what it does, it allows all the nutrition to become available to the plant's roots. Now what I need is my little trowel, and let's get this mixed up. All right, guys, take a look here. You can see beautifully granulated. This is going to be really good drainage, and that's what these plants love. So let's get this baby over here, and let's get our first pot prepped, and we're going to do all our planting over here. So in go the drainage pebbles first off, and leave a little bit for our other pot. Nice, beautiful. You see that? That looks healthy already. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, now in goes our mixture. And here we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's feed it right into the edges here. And I'm not filling it any further than this lip because we're going to be adding in. Remember, we're making a double-story planter here. Now what we want to do is we want to get our other pot in its spot. So that's this little guy here. And here we're going to need to play around with either moving a bit of the soil up, because that's going to be the base, almost like if you're throwing a concrete slab, except it's no way as difficult. And here we go. We can pop it just like that. Oh, lovely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant up this guy first, because I've got the angle that I want it at. I don't have to plant it at an angle to make my life difficult. So we can take it off. Let's pop it here and let's get planting with this first baby. In goes the gravel. Nicely done. Okay, and what I'm going to be using here, oh, where's this? Isn't she gorgeous? This is an Echeveria elegans, and the name just says it's elegant. When taking it out of its pot, squeeze, squeeze, and look at that, out it comes. Nice and easy. Remember what we're going to do is, we're going to tease the bottom. Oh, and this beauty is going to go straight into here. There we go. Fits like a glove. And then what we're going to do is firm down the soil, and we're then going to fill it up with a bit of our mixture. Hold the leaves back, gently feed it in. Use the back end of your trowel just to firm it down. To neaten it up, we're going to use a little paintbrush, and that we just get rid of all of the excess soil over here and make life a whole lot easier. I'm going to take this baby, put him there. Let's just check how we're doing. Looking nice. Now don't hinder yourself. Don't try and now plant the other plant in with this thing still here. So I know already by where this pot is of how I need to work. Okay, but this is not rocket science, guys. Put it down there. We're going to take another Echeveria. This is a multi-branched Echeveria. You can see. Also still part of the elegans family, but much smaller, almost tree-like. Okay, how are we going to get it out of this? Don't stress yourselves out, please, guys. Shake off any excess that might be there. Now remember, because it's a rigid pot, you can't squeeze it, but we're going to show you how to deal with it. Get your little trowel, pop it in on the side, and just get it as far down as possible, running down the side of your terracotta pot. Okay, and then just wiggle it. Move it that way, move it that way. Okay. Once we've pried it around the sides, out comes our baby. Beautiful. Roots still all there, looking gorgeous. And what I'm going to do is take this little guy, and he is going to go right here on the edge, making sure that we're showing off the best side of the plant, all right? And I think we found the best side here. So a little bit of extra soil. Let's fill in these gaps over here to make life a whole lot easier as we're going along. All right, nicely cleaned up. Now, let's get back to those beautiful plectranthus that I had, that I've taken the cuttings of. And you can see I've got a little gap over here. Let's get these babies and let's show you what we're going to do with them. So this is really easy, folks, and this is a principle that you can use time and time again with plants in your garden. And what we need is some rooting powder. We've got a little container, a little shot glass, which in previous times has been used for other applications, but right now it's in the garden. Put a little bit of your rooting powder inside the shot glass. We then need a little bit of water. We take our little cutting that we have. All right, there it is. Take our little cutting, we dip it into water first, and then we dip it into our rooting powder. You see that? Just on the edge. You're not getting it all the way up the stem. You don't need that. It's simply just where the scar is, where you've made your cut. Because by putting the rooting powder on there, it's logical. What we're doing is we're adding extra hormones, growth hormones, and that is going to make this little guy shoot and be strong and healthy. And then simply just pop it in to the soil. Nice and easy. Get these little babies in here. Okay. Guys, it seems silly to decant into the shot glass, but the reason why you're doing that, if by any chance your cutting material, which is what we call this, has got a disease on it, you're then transferring the disease only into the shot glass, because we throw this away. We don't put it back into the container. Okay, last little guy going in. And now we're going to put the pot around to see if we're lacking anything. Here we go, babies. Ooh la la. Hold this guy gently back. Pop him on there. Oh. And now to finish it all off, I've got these, come and look here, these beautiful pink pebbles that were left over from one of my bags. You know how it goes with pebbles. You end up with bits left over, and all we're going to do is take these, fill them in some of the gaps over here, which is once again just going to pick up on these colors. Last few pebbles going in, guys. Don't stress if you still see a few patches of soil, because the plant's, remember, going to spread out and cover that, especially this little plectranthus. You saw what it did in the pot. Last bit is to clean it up and give it a good watering, and let's put it in a glorious spot where it can be enjoyed.